The greatest of all time, Tom Brady, unretires. I've been spending some time in the hypnotic world of Ghostwire Tokyo, and I've got some thoughts. And are we about to get the best video game movie ever made? The latest trailer for Sonic the Hedgehog 2 makes a strong case for that. All that and the latest and everything cool today in The Rundown. Hey, welcome to The Rundown. My name is Victor Lucas, and I'm thrilled to see you here in the Electric Playground. We've got a great show for you today, and it's brought to you by our friends at the Gaming Stadium. They are Canada's leader in online esports tournament facilitation, and they've got tournaments and fun stuff happening every single week. You can find out all about them at tgs.gg. And I also want to tell you guys that they've got a brand new initiative over at TGS. It's called Pepper. And this is for those of you out there that like to put on your own tournaments and sort of maybe put some money on the line, maybe put some bragging rights on the line. It's basically a platform for fans and players out there that want to engage in some more top-level tournaments. And of course, we have a dedication for today's episode, and this one is going out to My Retro Life, who says the Cowabunga collection is easily one of my most anticipated releases of 2022. Mine too. Incredible collection, and of course, he's talking about the rundown that I just did about the PlayStation State of Play, where the Cowabunga collection was shown off, and boy, what an incredible collection of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles titles that I've been asking for such a long time. Konami finally heard my calls, my pleas. They saw it in maybe some of my side-scroll and superheroes, but it's Digital Eclipse that is working on this, and these guys have been just incredible at putting all kinds of retro content back out into the world. This is 13 Turtles games. It's a nice collection of the NES and the arcade and the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis stuff that's out there. Some awesome side-scrolling superhero action. It's coming to all the platforms, not just PlayStation, and I can't wait to review that franchise, or that collection. It is a franchise, right? It's a franchise and a collection like that. I love it. As soon as that comes out, and I'll definitely be streaming some right here on the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/EPN, if you're not following our Twitch stuff. All right, let's get started with our rundown today, and I think some of the biggest news that's out there is that the GOAT is back. Tom Brady retired from football on February 1, so just a little over a month ago. And guess what? On Sunday night, he said, "No, I'm back." And he said, "These past 2 months, I've realized my place is still on the field and not in the stands. That time will come, but it's not now. I love my teammates and I love my supportive family. They make it all possible. I'm coming back for my 23rd season in Tampa. Unfinished business. Let's effing go." I'm not going to swear. You guys know what the F stands for. That was pretty big news yesterday. I think it went out Sunday night, so Twitter broke down, and all of the sports websites and sportscasters, everybody's got some opinions on this, including Electronic Arts. They said, "I'm back." Michael Jordan, referring to his unretirement in basketball because he went off and played baseball for a while, and then they attributed that to Tom Brady, the GOAT. This is obviously a huge deal for EA Sports and Madden, the Madden franchise. Tom Brady has been, well, God, he's a front runner in anything to do with the NFL, so it's big for the NFL, period. But if you happen to have the NFL football license and make video games with it, and you got Tom Brady back in the game, that's a big deal. Of course, they would have worked out a virtual Tom Brady thing in Madden for years and years to come, but obviously EA is super happy about that. I'll tell you who else is super happy about that is everybody that's associated with the Tampa Bucks, the Buccaneers. So they actually tweeted out, this is from Jason Licht, who says, "We are thrilled that Tom has decided to come back this season. We said we would leave all options open for him should he reconsider his retirement, and today's announcement is something we have been preparing for in recent days. Bruce and I have plenty of conversation with Tom. I've had recent conversations with Tom recently that led us to believe there was a realistic chance he would want to come back. Tom is the greatest quarterback of all time who is still playing at an elite level. With this decision now made, we will continue to move forward with our off-season plans to reload this roster for another championship run." And, obviously this is going to send ripple effects throughout the entire league. And all eyes are going to be on Tom Brady to kind of compete at the highest level and sort of show us what he's capable of. Because I think he's like 86 years old or something like that. What's his age, you guys? How old is Tom Brady? He's been in the league for a long time. Dude's been playing football for almost as long as I've been covering video games. So that's old. He really, I think, is someone that shows humanity that we can keep going and going and go. He's the Energizer Bunny of pro football players. So let's see what kind of a run he has in this next season. And I'll tell you what, if he adds another championship ring to his fingers, boy, that's going to be a story. What do you guys think? Is he going to take it all the way? Is he going to win the Super Bowl next year? Are you glad that Tom Brady is back? Or were you maybe that unlucky sap that bought the last touchdown football pass that he threw? Somebody spent $500,000 on the football for his last touchdown pass. And what a sucker. Because he's back. And, clearly there's going to be a lot of people that are very excited about that. I'll tell you what I'm very excited about, that new Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Paramount and Sega dropped a new trailer for Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which is coming up next month. I can't wait. I love the first Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Action starts off in the trailer where we see everybody trying to have a normal life, and they're at this wedding, and then, of course, it's Sonic. So all hell breaks loose, and Sonic has to interrupt this wedding, which is taking place in Hawaii. Thing that I really dig about this Sonic the Hedgehog movie franchise, this burgeoning franchise, Sonic 3 has already been greenlit, by the way, is that the cast is hilarious. James Marsden is super committed and funny. He's kind of, the straight man in all of this stuff. He plays a cop that is trying to reconcile that he's got a cartoon buddy. And then, all kinds of other really funny character actors pop up in this. Of course, Jim Carrey is playing Dr. Robotnik, and he's hilarious. He comes back in this new trailer, and he's discovered the most powerful energy source in the universe, the Chaos Emerald. And of course, one of the big things is that Knuckles is going to be a part of this. Not only is Tails in this movie, but Knuckles, how do you say it? The Enchita? It's Idris Elba is playing Knuckles, and he says what he is. But I don't ever say Enchita, Enkita, I don't even know how to say the damn thing. I've only ever read that name for an animal as part of Sonic lore, and I've never said it in real life. And Eknita? I don't know. You guys tell me how to say it. But he's going to play a big part in this. And Tails is an awesome pilot, as we see in this trailer as well. Also gets in harm's way. But Sonic the Hedgehog is kind of a superhero in a way. He, as we saw in the first movie, he's been studying the exploits of the Flash. So he knows what to do with his super speed. And there's just some beautiful visuals in here that obviously evoke the action of the video games. And there's that Sonic the Frontiers video game, which will be revealed pretty soon. They might have a trailer for Sonic Frontiers associated with this film, which would be crazy. I'll tell you what happened when I saw the first movie. The Paramount logo comes up, and you have the stars around the mountain, which is so iconic, and then they turned into rings, and the Sega logo popped up, and I got chills all down I was just like, what? Got all emotional. And then we went on this ride with the first movie, and I saw it with my daughter. We both had an incredible time. And so I'm expecting big things out of Sonic 2. Obviously, they have to ratchet up the, no pun intended, they have to ratchet up the action and, spend some real dollars, because obviously this is becoming a very important film franchise for the studio. So we'll see some pretty amazing effects, I think, in this new movie. And we're going to see some giant robots shooting at Tails, flying a biplane, which is dope as hell. We're going to see Dr. Robotnik evolve. We're going to see some pretty good, mascot versus mascot action between Sonic and Knuckles. And, we're going to see Sonic sort of become the hero that he has aspired to be. And now he's got more on the line, because obviously he is connected with all of these different characters, and he has his sort of human family at this point. So my fingers are crossed for Sonic 2. I can't wait to go and see this. I can't wait to go and review it. And hopefully Idris Elba just kicks some butt as Knuckles, and Sonic and Knuckles can kind of work this out so that they're not always fighting. That would be awesome. Are you guys stoked? Have you seen Sonic 1? What did you think of that? And do you think Sonic 2 is going to live up to our expectations? Honestly, Sonic 1 is still the best video game movie that I have ever seen. And I don't say that lightly, because I've seen them all. Uncharted sucked, but Sonic 1 was really, really good. All right, I had a chance to play Bethesda's brand new game, which is coming out on March 25th. Let's talk a little bit about that. Ghostwire Tokyo is coming out for the PlayStation 5 and PC on March 25th, and Bethesda shot me out some early code so I could play a few hours of the game. Basically, I played Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, and I'm using footage here that's from the latest state of play that they showed us on Ghostwire Tokyo. They did a deep dive on the game with some behind-the-scenes stuff, and I was actually surprised to go back and look at all that footage again, because they do reveal, a lot of what I just played. So I'm choosing to use this footage specifically because I don't want to spoil too much. But this has been out there if you've been interested in it. The first thing that I want to tell you guys about this game is that it's not a survival horror game. It's an action game with creepy horror elements, but it's definitely not a Resident Evil or an Evil Within, which Shinji Mikami has been most associated with, and a lot of the people that work at Tango have been associated with really horrific survival type experiences. I mean, obviously, there's horror elements and you have to survive them, but it's not a slow-moving experience. It's an action-packed experience with lots of cool, almost super heroic abilities and visual effects and flourishes. But I'll tell you what, that city, that beautiful megapolis of Tokyo is so wonderfully crafted for this game. It's almost another character in the game. And it's always fun to visit Tokyo in real life or virtually, but obviously the power of the PlayStation 5 and sort of the current gen of PC technology that's out there makes this a real showstopper. Like, it's really lovely to go and explore this city and have the rain effects and the neon reflecting everywhere off of different surfaces, and you go into the subway systems and you're climbing up high rises, and you have these incredible abilities to, take advantage of the verticality of the experience, because you're looking at this pristine urban environment that you get to go and explore. Now, it has been devastated. There is the population basically of Tokyo has been overrun by these yokai, these demonic creatures and ghosts, and so there are hundreds of thousands of dead that are roaming in sort of ghost form, or have been, converted into these different evil creatures in ghost form. And you're trying to beat back the leaders of these different pawns, these different ghosts that are running around, and try to, save the souls of different people that you're going to encounter along the way. So you're going to be battling monsters, and you have these cool abilities that are latent within you. They're these sort of supernatural abilities that you keep augmenting and accumulating. You also have this kind of spectral bow that you can shoot at the different ghost creations with as well. And the different creations are honestly quite wonderful and spooky. You'll see the Japanese businessmen with but they're headless, or they have some sort of super deformed kind of quality about them, and they'll be walking around the streets with an umbrella, or you might see some schoolgirls. You'll see a creature that kind of evokes the giant vampire from Resident Evil Village, who has these, huge scissors, and they'll come after you as well. And then there's all kinds of different, demon creatures and flying creatures, and there's actually sheeted ghost creatures, and you'll see the spectral forms of the dead all around you, and sometimes you go off on side missions for some of them, but you're trying to save them with what is some really cool Japanese iconography and sort of historically pertinent and significant attributes and elements, which kind of play into the spiritual aspects of Japanese culture fused with this sort of modern and high-tech kind of neon culture that you're cruising around in this beautifully rendered Tokyo. So it's a nice combination of the metaphysical and the real world, and some spiritual elements in there, and It's a little twisted. There's some humor in it for sure as well. I have been really impressed with what I've seen so far. And essentially what's happened is you fuse with this other character named KK. And KK is, he's perished, but he still has some work to do in the land of the living. So you, as this main character, fuse with KK and his abilities. So they have this dual personality thing going on, and they're talking to each other. You are constantly being encouraged to engage the enemy with these powers that you have, and then to also save the souls that you will encounter along the way. And of course, you're going to be leveling up. And this is actually towards the end of the second chapter, which is about as far as I got here, but you get this really cool ability where you can wipe out, and again, this is from the trailer, so I'm not really spoiling anything. This is, part of the marketing materials that Bethesda's already put out there, but you have this really cool ability to kind of vanquish a whole bunch of these demons in one fell swoop, and you kind of build up to this. It's a nice crescendo moment, which is really cool, but you, along the way, really get a sense of the power that you have and the ability that you have. You're not helpless. You're not just looking for the traditional weaponry and knives and guns and things like that. You have this these cool sort of Bioshock level superpowers that allow you to destroy a whole bunch of creatures all at once, and it's really empowering. I mean, it just feels incredible to be able to shoot out these spectral energy things, these projectiles that are, a little bit sort of hewing to the sort of natural elements, whether they're fire effects or water effects or wind effects. And you're constantly getting the energy to power these spectral powers from these different twisted real-world elements. You might see like a vending machine that is glowing and has this supernatural kind of shine off of it, and so you blast at it, and then you get the bits of energy that you need that you can use as your projectile weapons, which is cool. You also have the ability to look up at flying demons and send out one of your ghost wires and pull yourself up kind of Spider-Man style, and you can hover and float across buildings as well, so you kind of have Batman special powers as well. I really looked at this game. It's an interesting kind of combination of some of the ideas of Bioshock for sure. There are audio logs and there's mystery to find as you explore all over the place. But then also it has a little bit of that stuck in between the life and death kind of vibe that you had out of Control. There's definitely a Ghostbusters vibe because you're saving these souls and taking down these ghosts. So it's very unique, and it's a little bit twisted like we expect out of Shinji Mikami stuff out there, but it's really fun to play. Like it doesn't sort of hinder you in your ability to race around and pull off all of these cool effects and leap over buildings, and it also get deep into inside of buildings as well, and it's an open space, so there is kind of this fog that is keeping you from going in every direction, and it will hurt you, so you're being guided at the beginning, but as you're sort of taking over the gates, these temporal gates and things like that, the world starts to open up and there's a lot more to explore. I'll tell you what, if you are a fan of Tokyo, if you're a fan of some of the twisted visions that Shinji Mikami and his teams have been able to put together in the past, if you like games like Bioshock and Control, I think there's a lot about Ghostwire Tokyo to be excited about. I can't wait to keep playing it, and I'll come back with a full review for you guys very soon. All right, there's just a couple quick things that I want to tell you guys about. Xbox has got a spring event that's taking place, and it's sort of a fusion of stuff that's going to be available on Xbox Game Pass, like MLB The Show 22. Still surreal that this is a top-level MLB game that you can just download on MLB. But they have other games that you can purchase coming up soon, which I'm really excited for, like Tunic, which looks incredible. Weird West is also coming to Game Pass, and I think what they're doing with the this promotion and this video piece that they put out there today is they're really giving people a sense of stuff that may be flying under the radar a little bit. Not so much MLB, but there are a lot of titles hitting all at the same time, and I think Xbox and his publishing partner said, look, we got to get some buzz on some of this stuff. This is already out there. This is LX2. I think I downloaded this to the Steam Deck. I haven't touched this yet because, I've been lost in lots of other adventures and stuff. But I do want to check that out. Crusader Kings 3 is coming to Xbox Game Pass. Shredders is coming to Xbox Game Pass. This looks like a lot of fun. This is a cool-looking snowboarding game with some interesting physics. Reminds me a little bit of Amped. Not so much SSX. This feels like a little more sim-like. I also caught the trailer for this not too long ago. It's an RPG time, The Legend of Right, and this is sort of like a handmade RPG with pencil etches and things like that. It looks pretty cool. And so one of the things that they're doing with this spring event is that they're also, going to reward people that spend some money. They get 5,000 Microsoft reward points if you purchase some of these games, like Submerged, which is coming up, Shadow Warrior 3, which I just streamed the other day. I played that on PC, but I'm sure it runs great on the Xbox platforms. And Aztec looks pretty interesting as well, kind of 90s vibe in terms of an action platformer. A cool spring event that's happening right now up until mid-April. So check out the promotion if you're an Xbox player out there. And one final thing to tell you guys about, and I'm sure you've heard about this already, there's going to be another State of Play on Thursday, March 17th, which I will stream live, and it's going to be all about Hogwarts Legacy, which has been in, it's been kind of secret what's been going on with this game. We got the trailer for the game a couple of years ago, and it was just all CG rendered. It was just giving us an idea of the vibe of the game. It takes place well before, like in the 1800s, well before the era of Harry Potter, but it takes place at Hogwarts Castle and school, and we're going to be, obviously playing with magic and dealing with lots of different Harry Potter icons and some of the legends that have been a part of the Harry Potter universe, which is going to be pretty cool. We're going to be getting the Sorting Hat and joining the house and seeing the living library and all the other cool little elements that are a part of Harry Potter. And obviously this is going to be a much more open and expansive experience that takes full advantage of modern video game hardware. So we should see some pretty spectacular visual effects. And there's going to be, obviously, an element of customization with this game and personalization with this game. But I definitely want to learn a lot more about it because a lot of this CG stuff, it does look like they've fused a little bit of gameplay in there and gave us a tiny sense of what the end result is going to look like. But, obviously there's also a lot of CG embellishment there to make it look as pretty as possible. But I definitely want to see it. We're big Harry Potter fans in this house. My kid and I have read all the books together, and we've seen the movies, and I think my daughter's going through the books on her own right now for the second or third time, and she's always watching the movies. So that's a game that I am anxious to play, but I'm even more anxious to see how my daughter responds to it. And we'll get a good taste of it on Thursday. So I hope you come back to our Twitch channel. That's twitch.tv/EPN, and we will live stream it and talk about it Thursday at 2 p.m. Pacific time on March 17th. So we'll see you there. And that's just a big reminder. I do the rundowns live on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/EPN. So join us for some of those. And we're also streaming new games all the time. That's going to do it today. We'll see you soon. And until then, play forever.